Oh my god, what if they find out that I'm not as good as they thought I was? What if they realize that they were overestimating my abilities and I'm not as good? I really want to go for this job, but it seems very much out of my league. I don't have those 5 bullets which the job description demands of me, but I think I can do it. But I think I'm going to fail if I put myself forward for it. I've got this job, but I don't think I can carry myself the way they probably expect me to. I don't think I'll be able to be as credible as they think I should be. I'm in these meetings, but I'm not really able to follow all these terms. I'm not sure I'm going to add value. I significantly overestimated my abilities here. If this has been or is your inner chatter, then I'm going to give you 5 ways to think about imposter syndrome in a way that it will actually propel you to feel more confident and have more self trust. Number 1. In the words of Jay Shetty, do not confuse lack of familiarity with lack of capability. A lot of times we think that just because we are not familiar with the subject, we don't have the skills, we don't have the competence to deliver on the job. Though in reality, you're just not familiar. It's not that you're not competent or capable. Imagine a child, a baby, they don't know how to walk, they don't know how to talk, they don't know how to eat, but they develop those skills. A child, a baby doesn't say to itself that I can't do it because I have never done this before. These are really big skills that they learn through life. This is something that we need to teach ourselves. Remind yourself of every experience that you've gone through in your life and ask yourself, am I confusing lack of familiarity with lack of capability? You probably feel a lot of that imposter syndrome because you put in a lot of equity on hard skills in your career. For example, you are only thinking about the technical topic that you don't know. You're only thinking about that one meeting where you couldn't make a difference or couldn't add value as much as you could. But you also need to leverage off your soft skills, your ability to network, your ability to build relationships, your ability to research, your ability to be perseverant, your discipline, your consistency, your curiosity, you being coachable. These attributes will take you far ahead in delivering to the level that you want to deliver, more than just having hard skills. So remember that you need to bank on your soft skills as much as your hard skills to feel comfortable to go for opportunities and not hold yourself back at the back of imposter syndrome. I've had this situation many times in my career when I was going for a secondment for a short project in the monetary analysis unit full of economists. I kept telling myself a zillion times, I'm not an economist, I'm going to be found out. And of course, my contributions were not like an economist, but it was a huge opportunity for making a difference in an area where I got a lot more people skills in the role where I was supposed to be a central coordinator. And hence, it's very important for you to constantly remind yourself of the strengths that you bring to the table and not just dwell on the topics that you're not familiar with. Do not confuse lack of familiarity with lack of capability. Number 2, if there are multiple people believing in you, then maybe it's time for you to believe in you. Maybe it's a potential that they see in you, which you don't see in yourself yet. Sometimes there is always a trap. We tend to overestimate what other jobs will give us, what other roles, what other challenges would give us, and what they demand of us. And we tend to significantly underestimate our contribution, the skills that we have gained in doing what we do, because it's become so normal and accessible to us. It's so easy for us that we think anybody can do it. And hence, it's very important to understand that you are probably overestimating the demands of a job which you haven't done because you are underestimating the skills and the competence that you're gaining in your current job. That's the second trap to be aware of. Number 3, as Stephen Bartlett says, always position imposter syndrome as a growth moment. Now imagine, what's the opposite of imposter syndrome? The opposite of imposter syndrome is I am probably stuck. I am very complacent and comfortable doing what I'm doing. There isn't a stretch or a gap in my work, in the challenge of my life in any way. Or I've got a new challenge, but it isn't as big as I thought it was. Will that make you happy? Will that make you feel like you are bridging the gap between you and your potential? No. The absence of imposter syndrome will probably frustrate you more than the presence of it, because you're not growing, you're not doing anything that challenges you, you're not doing anything that will bring you closer to where you're meant to be. And hence it's very important for you to ask yourself, what will I feel worse about? Having this imposter syndrome, or being in a situation where I probably have no imposter syndrome because I haven't got any challenging opportunity in my career. I'm probably waiting for the next one. So crying over imposter syndrome is actually a choice that you're making, that I'm going to be miserable even when I'm stuck, but I'm going to be miserable even when I have a great opportunity. Does that make any sense? No. Number 4. I have often felt that imposter syndrome has been a great way for me to feel more confident to aspire for things that felt out of my league once. About 5 years ago, I was asked to be on a panel event. It was my first ever invitation to be on a panel as a speaker. And it was quite a high profile event with people from World Bank, IMF, and it was my first ever panel event just a few months into a new job. And I felt I'm going to let the organizer down. I'm going to let myself down. It's my first event and it's so huge that if this fails, it will take my confidence away from doing any similar panel event in the future. And I had so much fear. And guess what? Because of that fear, I prepared a lot more. I made sure that my pitch and my top 3 points were very, very clear. I was very clear with what the organizer wanted in terms of success of the event, who the audience was going to be. And I tailored my points to the event and really prepared well. I rehearsed, I practiced, and made sure that I showed up as my best version, as the rawest version that I was in terms of experience, of having experience on a panel. Guess what? It was probably one of my best panel events to date. And when I did that, I suddenly felt that, oh my God, it isn't as tough as I thought. And maybe now I can think about getting into keynote speaking, getting into more public speaking engagements. And I have done so many since. That one panel event helped me realize that I love public speaking, I love communication, I love to engage with audiences. I might want to start my YouTube channel one day. And if I hadn't tapped into that imposter syndrome moment at that point, it would not have helped me get close to the things which at that time felt like out of league dreams. So remember, imposter syndrome is a great way to bridge the gap between where you are, where you want to be, who you are, and who you want to become. And in a way, the more imposter syndromes you cross, you are shortening the distance between you and your dream role, how grand you can be in imagining what your life could be, the size of opportunities you could aim for. Because you're training your mind, you're constantly giving your mind evidence that, look, I did this, look, I did that, look, I did that. And your mind starts to get more and more comfortable as a risk manager to allow you to feel more comfortable doing things which are riskier, which feel bigger, which feel so-called out of your league at that moment. And number 5, interestingly, according to research, imposter syndrome was never a syndrome in how it was coined. It was not ever coined as a clinical or a medical disordery term. It was called imposter phenomena as something that people just go through more generally as they get new roles, as they get new opportunities. So remember that this is a phenomena, it's not a disorder. You would probably not be human if you're not experiencing it. You experiencing it is a sign that you care. It's a sign that you're going through a growth moment. It's a sign that you are meeting your hidden potential. It's a sign that people believe in you and it's time for you to believe in you. It's a sign that you're bridging the gap between you and your dreams and who you could become. So let the inner voice that makes you self-criticize, that makes you feel very uncomfortable about having this imposter syndrome, relax, because having it is a blessing and not having it is a sign that you're not growing, you're not embracing any challenges, and that's probably going to frustrate you more than having it. And remember, it's very, very human to have imposter syndrome. There is no person who has gone through a big opportunity who has probably not gone through the moment of, I don't know this, how will I crack this? I hope this video was helpful. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe my channel, Overcome, Grow and Thrive, because I'm rooting for you. I'm forever in your corner and I really want you to win. Take care.